Hey, what's going on, SLG? So, got some new people playing this game. This is Empyrean Galactic Survival, and we recently got our server going back, and we've got a couple of new people in, and there's a lot to this game. This is a pretty big game. So I'm gonna start making little tutorial videos or whatever just to throw up on Discord. And you guys, if you want, make use of them, or if you want to bumble around in a single player game, figure out things for yourself, that's fine too. But this is just to kind of help us out a little bit. I logged on today and I realized that our base on the server was out of power. Not that big of a deal because I took steps yesterday uh, to make sure that we wouldn't lose anything if that happened, because it was going to be a while before I logged back on. But I got to thinking about it this morning, and a lot of people don't know how a lot of the mechanics in the game work just yet. So I'm going to throw out some videos to kind of help people out a little bit, and that way you'll have something, whether I'm on Discord or not. If you've got a question, you can check out the videos. Maybe they'll answer it, and if not, then just shoot me a message and I'll help you out. So, what I'm going to cover in this one is kind of like an introduction to the logistics of the game. So I've got my base here. I just spawned it in, and the way that you can spawn things in is through blueprints. We'll cover that in a different video, but for now, let's just stick with, here's our base, and yeah. So the easiest way to monitor your base's power and fuel level is the following. So I walk in and here's my base, right? And there's no lights or anything on, okay? I just spawned it in, all right? Nothing's on, nothing's working. So you need to cut the power on, right? So the way you do that, you walk into your base and you press the P button. P is in Paul. And that's going to bring up this menu right here. Now, if you've never seen this before, it can look intimidating, but I promise it really isn't that bad. Um, right now, we're going to focus on the fuel part, but just a quick overview. What you've got here is your control panel. So on the left-hand side, you've got, starting left to right, you've got your main, which gives you all of the information, the name of the base, the faction it belongs to, your general switches here for things like power, oxygen, lights, weapons, all that good fun stuff. These two over here, custom and signals, those are a little more advanced to start with. I wouldn't worry about those so much. Across the bottom, you've got power, which is that's how much your generators are doing at the time. Currently zero, because as I said, I just spawned the base in. Your shield power, your ammunition, if your base or ship is equipped with weapons or turrets, what ammunition they use and how much of that ammunition they have access to. Currently, same thing, none. Then you've got oxygen system, fuel system, and pentaxid system. Uh, for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on the fuel right here. So, first things first, let's cut the power on. So, this general right here, switch at the top says power. Click it, it turns green, and as you can see, all the lights are on. Our base is now active. Okay, it's using power. So that means that the clone chamber is working, that means that the O2 station is working, etc. Now, as far as fuel goes, let's hit our P menu again. Now, we've got some information over here on the left-hand side, specifically power left, right here in this energy section. So, the very bottom, power left, 012. So this is real time. This is telling me that the base has 12 minutes worth of fuel left. Okay? So that's not good. We don't want it to be that low, right? So we need to add fuel to the system. So what you can do is we're here and we go to our P menu. We see that we're running low on power. All right. Down here, this fuel section, you click on manage and it pulls this screen here up. All right. Now, this screen on the left-hand side is your player inventory. All right. And as you can see, I've got some things here in my inventory. These are all different types of fuel, and I'm gonna show you how each of those work here in just a second. But anyways, on your left-hand side, you've got your player inventory. On your right-hand side, you've got your fuel system. So you can see here that our total content is 0, which is why we've only got a couple minutes of fuel left. It's basically working on what's in the lines. Total capacity is 3,600, and we've got 3 fuel tanks, which give us that total capacity of 3,600. This is a nice visual representation. It's a fuel tank and it's empty. So there's 2 options here. We can withdraw fuel or we can fill fuel. When it comes to your base, you're primarily only going to be working with fill fuel. This one, like when you're hitting POIs and stuff and you find fuel tanks, you can actually take the fuel out of the POIs if there's any there. But we'll cover that here later or something. But right now we want to put fuel in the base. All right. So the easiest way of doing that is you've got fuel in your inventory over here, and you just simply pick one up or a whole stack, whatever, drag it over to the fill fuel and drop it. Now that gave us a little bit. This is biofuel. As you can see, our content went up to 10, okay, because I only put one little biofuel thing in. So the reason that it barely went up is I used the lowest quality of fuel that we have access to. So right here we've got the 4 different types of fuel in Empyrion. We have biofuel, which you can make from just cutting down trees and throwing them into a small constructor, and you can make biofuel out of those. Now, start game, you're going to use this a lot. It's going to power your base, it's going to power your hover ships, your chainsaw, anything that requires fuel, start game, you're probably going to use biofuel. The next thing that you're going to have access to is the small fuel packs, which is these single tiered things right here. Now these take promethium to make, and these will give you a little bit more. So you saw we put 1 of these in, and that gave us 10. Okay, I'm going to put 1 of these in, and that takes us up to 40. So we already had 10 in it, so 1 of these small packs gave me 30 points. All right, and that is if you hover over each of these, you get a tool mark, and fuel value right there for the little guys is 30 PUH. Okay, for the smallest ones, 10 PUH. For the mediums, which actually the large fuel packs, but it's the medium level, they give you 150. All right, so you can see if I take, when I drop this in, we've already got 40. So when I drop 1 of these in, this number here should go up to 190. All right, because this is 150, there's already 40 in, so I'm going to take, drop, boom, goes up to 190. Now we're up to 5%, right? This is the fusion cell. These are the best. They give you, as you can see, their fuel value 300 PUH. So if I drop 1 of these into the tank, then that total content should go up to 490 because there's 190 in the tank. This is going to give me another 300. So drop that in, 490. Now that made a big jump. That's the biggest jump that we've seen so far because that's the best fuel. All right. So you don't have to drop them in 1 at a time. You can drop an entire stack in. For example, let's take all of these little ones. We've got 19 of them. We're going to drop them in all at once. and boom. So it does all the math for you. You don't have to worry about calculating all of this. All you got to do is just look, say, oh crap, I'm low on fuel, throw some fuel in it, you're good to go, right? Now, as we're adding fuel, if you remember a few minutes ago when we looked at our control panel, it said we had 12 minutes worth of fuel. Now that we've added fuel here, let's go back to our control panel, and you can see now we've got 11 hours, 20 minutes worth of fuel. So, and down here you have a visual representation showing your fuel tank, as I was saying a minute ago. This P menu at first can be a pain in the butt, but once you get used to it, it is a God savior. It really is. It allows you to keep track of your oxygen, your fuel, your pentaxid, your ammo. You can control the items that are using power on your base. Let's say that you're running into an issue and you don't want your constructors or whatever running. You don't want them turned on if you're not physically using them. You can actually set all of this up to where you have custom switches to cut pieces of equipment on and off. It's a little more advanced stuff, but most of you guys can figure that out as you go, and if not, then I'll be happy to throw up another video showing how to do that at some point. But as far as the fuel goes, this is kind of important because everything runs off of fuel. Like your refrigerators, for example. Well, if I can find them. It's been a while since I used this little prefab, and this base is also, everybody's got access to this particular base in your blueprints folder. So here's your fridges, right? And there's nothing in them, all right? But let's say that these fridges were full of food, all right? If your base runs out of fuel, all the food in these refrigerators will spoil, all right? So it's important not to let your base run out of fuel because of the food issues, and it's also important not to let your base run out of fuel because the turrets and weapons, they have to be powered. So if you lose power to your base, then your turrets and weapons are not going to work. Even if they've got ammo in them, if a drone or whatever comes over and starts messing with the base, if it's not got any fuel in it, then they're pretty much going to bend the base over and do horrible, horrible things to it because there's no fuel for the weapons to be able to function. So you want to make sure that you've always got fuel in your base or in your ship or in your hovercraft, whatever. All this works for all of it. You'll have this menu for every blueprint that you create. All right. So the reason that I wanted to do this, let's say that you've been playing for a few hours or whatever, and you're going to take a break. All right. So before you log off, you want to make sure that your base is topped off with power, because on the server, not in single player, but on the server, just because you log out, everything keeps going. Alright, so even if we're all logged out, the bases and the ships are still going to be using power. So let's say that you're done for the day, or done for the night, whatever, and you're going to log out, and you want to make sure that the base is not going to run out of power. So what you'll do, just real quick, before you log out, hit the P menu for the base that you're standing in. Go here, go to manage. Well, let's back up. So we've got 11 hours and basically 11 and a half hours worth of fuel. Let's say that, you know, you're not 100% sure that you're going to be able to be back on the game in 11 hours before it runs out of fuel. So go to manage, take the fuel that you want to add, drop it in there. As you can see, that just filled us up. So we're going to go up here to control panel to go back to our P menu. And now you can see that we have 34 hours and 18 minutes worth of fuel left. You can now log out of the game and be gone for a day and a half without having to worry about it. So The reason that this is a big deal is as a faction, as a group, we've got 4 or 5 people out scavenging things, finding stuff. We've got a garden to worry about. We've got weapons to worry about. Everybody's stuff is typically in 1 or 2 places. So we want to kind of help each other take care of our stuff. So everybody do their part and just make sure that the bases are not going to run out of fuel. And it will become like second nature. You'll eventually get to the point where, okay, I'm done here. I'm not going to be back for a while. Let me check the fuel. But the P menu is your friend. And I'm probably going to do a few more videos because there is so much that you can do here. As you can see, there's all kinds of tabs across the top here. All of these different boxes do stuff. So we'll get into that in a different video, but this one we're going to call the fuel video, and I hope that it's helpful. I hope that you guys use it, and I'm really happy to have you guys playing Empyrion with us, and I look forward to seeing you in game. Alright, have a good one, guys.